discuss some amazing discoveries within I Hate Religion But Love Jesus video, and even more shocking discoveries within the Amazing Atheist video of I Hate Religion and Jesus Too. My response will be focused on thought-provoking challenges for both Jeff and the Amazing Atheist. So first, a little about the Amazing Atheist video. As a churchgoer myself, about the only problem I had with it was his continual strong use of profanity. But I'm here to tell you that beyond that, in my opinion, he has more truth than error, which you will soon discover. So the first issue within Jeff's video, where he said he hates religion but loves Jesus, he obviously didn't realize it, but he really is using improper word definition, just as the Amazing Atheist referred to. But regardless, I believe Jeff is genuinely in the service and worship of God, of which Webster says, is a religion. So maybe we could correct Jeff's word definition by calling the man-made legal stuff he refers to by its right name, which is legalism and not religion. And just maybe we Christians should be careful about pointing fingers, because if scrutinized, we might find that most religions, yes, even yours and mine, have been infiltrated with a certain amount of legalism, as explained within my books. Next, the Amazing Atheist springs into action with a high level of common sense as he expresses his amazement over us Christians believing and thinking that anyone deserves to burn in hell forever and ever. I think he has really landed on something. At least I've wondered about the forever burning stuff for years. It just never seemed to make any sense. So are we sure we have this concept correct? Are we sure this isn't just more of Satan's lies about God? You know, we Christians should know that this world is Satan's domain. As he roams the earth, seeking to confuse and destroy, trying to say God is vengeful, unforgiving, and severe. It seems to me that's exactly what the Amazing Atheist is referring to, as he rubs egg all over our Christian faces throughout much of his video. He seems to be poking fun at the concept of Jesus being perfect for us, that we have no responsibility for what we do, because God only sees us through the perfect life of Jesus. So again, I'm wondering, are we sure we have that straight? I think there must be something wrong, because I'm quite sure God has 20/20 vision, seeing us inside out. I also think something is wrong with the concept, because if I understand properly, it was God the Father in the prodigal son story that ran out to meet us in our filthy, smelly rags to welcome us back home. I'm also wondering if something is wrong when we seem to have Jesus as the good guy paying a ransom with his blood in order to get the Father to forgive us. Wouldn't our legal system call that extortion? Wouldn't that make the Father unforgiving, just as Satan says? I'm really wondering about this stuff, especially after Jesus says, "If you have seen me, you have seen the Father." Are we sure as Christians haven't made things far too complicated? Are we sure we are in legal trouble with God? Shouldn't we be more focused on knowing God? The reason I say that is because John 17:3 states that to know God is eternal life. So what else is there? Can it be any more simpler than that? You know, I think the Amazing Atheist has hit on a few chords that should make us think. That is, if we're listening. Now there's one more honest concern the Amazing Atheist had about what Jesus said in Matthew 10:34, which can be very thought-provoking even for most Christians, when Jesus said, "Think not that I have come to make peace on earth. I have come to set man against his family." On the surface, most anyone would have to admit that the young atheist has a very legitimate concern about what Jesus said. Of course, there are many Bible texts that need to be explained within their context, and in this one, Jesus is saying, if anyone, even family members, are in Satan's camp of evil, trying to influence us to turn our backs on God, we should turn and walk away. And as for Jesus saying he didn't come to make peace, it should be understood that evil is at war with righteousness or right doing. And Jesus didn't come to compromise or make peace with evil, but he did come to expose it for what it is. So now I can hear the young atheist saying, well, why in the, isn't it made clearer? By the way, just maybe there's a whole lot more to be made clearer about why Jesus couldn't tell us certain things, that is, until now, as John 16:12 comments about. So how about an open invitation for everyone to discover the rest of the story that Jesus couldn't tell us long ago? It's within my audio or ebook readers. See the list and how to find them below. Now, Christians, what if, after digesting some of its content, the atheists and skeptics of the world would say, if this is God, the one described here, then count me in. The reason I say that is because if any of us Christians were listening to what the amazing atheist really said, you would have discovered a real thinking person with loads of passion that simply needs to see a picture of God that makes sense. In other words, are we sure we should be trying to convince intelligent people that if we follow Jesus, the Father won't burn us in hell? You have to admit that it really doesn't have a ring of a free will choice to it. You know, the free will choice that God said he would never take from us? It would be likened to the Valentine card from Garfield the cat. You know, the cartoon character? On the outside it read, "Please, would you be my Valentine?" But the inside reads, "Make the wrong choice and I'll break your arm." So what more can I say on video? If you're interested in the shocking rest of the story that Jesus couldn't tell us long ago, simply follow the instructions below.